Good morning. Another dark morning. Another morning. Sessions, early sessions. So we have high intensity from home today, and then we have cardio, stretch, and also muscle strengthening this morning. So I want to talk about the weighing scales though, because morning, Steffi. Morning, because what I want to look at is at the start of our Kickstart, when we have our one-to-one, when we get people started, we sit down and we kind of go through starting plan. Morning, Mitch. Starting plan. And often one of the questions that some ladies ask is, are you going to weigh me? Should I weigh myself? What do I do about the scales? And I guess that comes from like a diet culture, if you like, where the scales are the number one measure of success, right? If you've lost, you've won. If you haven't, you failed. What happened? Why didn't you do it this week? Morning, Caroline. You look at typical slimming clubs, 7 p.m. I'm about to go really dark, but it'll come back light again. 7 p.m. on a Wednesday, weigh yourself, then that dictates your results, which is crazy with given what I'm about to say. Given that physiologically, a woman can fluctuate up and down 4 pounds daily. That's 4 pounds daily. 4 pounds daily. Not to mention, if you have a bit more fibre than normal, which is a good thing potentially for some people, you may be fermenting a little bit longer. If you eat a bit later than you normally do, you might weigh more. If you've eaten more carbs that day, you might weigh more. And that's nothing to do with body fat. That's just to do with the fact for every 1 gram of carbohydrate you eat, you store 4 grams of water. So you're always going to have some short-term fluctuations in water with that. Not to mention salt, not to mention stress, the weather. So many variables that, and if you think about it, to dictate how you feel and your success of all your hard work on that number can seem quite crazy, really. Now, I'm saying this because sometimes that number can stop people carrying on for long enough to actually get the results that they want. And I've countless examples of this where, someone's not seen the results on the scales that they've lost before. Morning, Sandra. So you haven't seen the results on the scales, but they're then fitting into a dress. They're like, oh, these are smaller though. Normally I've lost way more weight, and I see this live. Normally I've lost a lot more weight. I'm not fitting into the clothes I'm fitting into now. Is that the exercise? A bit, yes. So you put on muscle, lose body fat, your body composition changes, but the weight won't change maybe as it normally would. There's so many variables with that. Now, that all said, for some people, the scales, they don't have as much of an emotional reaction, and actually they help guide someone. And there are benefits of it. For example, in a study where they look at people who have lost 10 kilos or more and kept it off for at least a year, one of the habits they do is weigh themselves. And so when I say for people who maybe are uncomfortable with fluctuations, at least for a short period of time, where it's just up and down, they don't know whether they're being successful or not, especially this is for women, is to, if they've got a menstrual cycle, is to maybe track that and compare week 1 to week 1, week 2 to week 2, week 3 to week 3, week 4 to week 4. So you're comparing the same week each month, rather than going, weeks 1 and 2, I'm lighter, I'm stronger, because you will be. You'll be potentially a bit lighter, potentially feeling stronger, like when you're exercising. Then weeks 3 and 4, you may feel a little bit weaker. You may not feel as strong, and you may have more cravings. And that's where you might want to allow yourself a little bit more. Maybe an extra snack, maybe a slightly larger portion of protein, maybe a little bit more carb, whereas half a fist more carb, whatever it is. We can start to be a bit more flexible with that. Then also, if someone still wants to use a scale, because it is a measure, it's one of many, but it's still a guide, is something I recommend is actually weighing yourself daily, if you're in this category, and then dividing it by 7 for each day of the week at the end of the week. So you get an average over the week. And that will just account for fluctuations, because then you can compare the weekly average rather than just you're actually measuring fluctuations up to 4 pounds a day, like I said. Could be more if you're eating more fibre and you bloat like I do. Yeah, don't give me too many chilies with beans in it. Not good to be around. Anyway, I hope that helps. Should you use scales, should you not? It's a tool, it's a measure, but sometimes I think for certain people, depending on where they are on their journey, they should probably just ditch them and actually get into the things that they know they need to do to get the results that they want. Because when you can start tracking your habits, okay, how many exercise sessions did I do? How many meals did I plan? How many meals had protein in? Did I get 5 vegetables in today? Did I drink 2 litres of water? Start tracking them first. The rest will take care of itself. Then you can start to ask deeper questions. Right, am I eating too many calories? What's my carbs like? What's my fats like? And if you are going to weigh yourself, just remember to weigh yourself. And this is partly why I don't do it myself often, for other people. It's because it's not really that useful unless you do it first thing in the morning, after using the loo, before eating or drinking. Just so you've got that consistent measure, because otherwise it's a bit up and down and you're relying on what you've eaten that day, etc. But no, even with that, if you go to bed late, then you're going to have smaller window of sleep, so you're potentially going to weigh more, because if you've eaten late as well, because there's been fewer hours between when you've eaten and when you've woken up. So, hope that helps. On to the sessions now. This is normally, when I get to Specsavers, that's normally when I end the video, because I'm nearly here. So it should be about the same length every day. I'll check if I walk faster or slower some days. Hope that helps. Any questions, let me know, and speak soon.